Multiplying fractions. So one of the misconceptions in multiplying fractions is that people tend to look at them in the same way that we would look at adding and subtracting fractions. And what I mean by that is they try to make the denominators the same. But when you're multiplying fractions, we just leave the denominators exactly as they are. And all we do is we multiply the numerators and we multiply the denominators. And then we simplify our answer. Let's look at the first question. So the way you do this question is 3 times 2, which is 6. And then 4 times 7, which is 28. And then we need to simplify the answer. So we need to look for the highest common factor, the highest number that goes into 6 and 28. So what is the highest number or the biggest number that goes into 6 and 28? Now if you can't think of the number, you can keep halving them. In this case, because they're even numbers, I can half them. So if I divide the top by 2 and divide the bottom by 2, I get 3 over 14. And as you can see, 3 and 14, that has to stay as it is because we cannot simplify that any further. So that means the highest common factor in this case was 2. Question 2. 3 over 4 multiplied by 3. Now to do this question, we need to make the whole number as a fraction. So we need to write the whole number as a fraction. So the question would read 3 over 4 multiplied by 3 over 1. Now why do we do this? Because you can see now, it is a lot easier now for us to do 3 times 3, 4 times 1, just like we did with question 1. Also, 3 over 1 doesn't change the number 3, because 3 over 1 means 3 divided by 1, and 3 divided by 1 is 3. So the answer to this question, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 1 is 4, and then we need to further simplify the answer. So how many 4s go into 9? There are 2 4s in 9, because 2 4s are 8, and what's left over? 1, and the denominator stays the same. Excellent. Let's have a look at the final question. Now this question has mixed fractions. The mixed fractions, we need to convert them into improper fractions before we do any final calculation. So the first thing we're going to look at is, to convert the first fraction, we need to do the denominator multiplied by the whole number plus the numerator. And it's the same thing for the second fraction. So for the first fraction, 2 times 1 plus 1. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So I'm going to write 3 over 2, because the denominator stays the same. Now remember, of means to multiply, so I'm going to put times. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So 9 over 4. Denominator stays the same. Don't forget, the of means to multiply. So sometimes they will not give you the multiplication sign. They will just say of in some questions. 3 times 9. Now this is just like question 1 and what we did with question 2. So we just have to multiply the numerators and the denominators. So 3 times 9, which is 27. And then 2 times 4 is 8. Now the final thing we need to do is, that's correct, we need to simplify the answer. So how many 8s go into 27? So if we did 8 times 3, 8 times 3 gives us 24. So we know that there's 3 8s in 27, because 3 8s are 24. So if I count from 24, how much more do I need to count up to 27? So 25, 26, 27, it's 3. So 3 is left over out of 8. And let's have a look at the fraction. Can we simplify any further? Is there a highest common factor of 3 and 8? No, there isn't. So therefore, this is the final answer. A problem question involving multiplying fractions. A new taller building is being built in Dubai. The new building will be 1 3/5 of the height of the old building. The old building is 800 meters tall. How tall will the new building be? Now, in order to answer this question, we firstly need to highlight all the key points and make sure we understand them. So the first key point I'm going to draw your attention to is where it says the new building will be 1 3/5 of the height of the old building. So if you remember, of means to multiply. So what is the size of the old building? Well, the old building is 800 meters tall. So if you want to know how tall the new building is going to be, we need to basically do 1 3/5 or 1 3/5 of multiplied by 800. We can convert the 800 into a fraction and then convert this into an improper fraction. So we would get 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3 is 8. So 8/5 multiplied by 800/1. So 8 times 800 equals 6,400 over 5. And then if we do 6,400 over 5, so 6,400 divided by 5, that gives us 1,280 meters. So that is the size of the new building. Is there another way that we can look at this question? Let's have a look. Now this method is going to involve us understanding what the fraction means in relation to the 800 meters. So for example, when we say 1 3/5 of 800 meters, what that actually means is the 1 means that is 800 meters. The new building is 800 meters. However, it is also plus an additional 3/5 of 800. So the 1 means 800 meters, that's what the 1 means, plus an additional 3/5 of 800. This would be the total size of the building. So if we know that the 1 means 800 meters, then we can leave the 1 aside and we can calculate 3/5 of 800 and then add it onto 800 to get the final answer. So let's do the calculation now. 3/5 of 800 meters. So that would be 3/5 multiplied by 800 over 1. So 3 times 800 is 2,400 over 5. Now, how many 5s go into 2,400? What is 2,400 divided by 5? 2,400 divided by 5 is 480. 480. Now we've got 480 meters, that's the 3/5. So if we know that the 1 symbolizes 800 meters, and if you also know that the 3/5 represents 480 meters, then together that is the size of the new building. So if 800 plus 480 meters gives us 1,280 meters. And that's exactly the same answer that we got with the previous method. Brilliant.